Hare Krishna. So it's February 21st, 2024. Today is the anniversary of the appearance day of Lord Nityananda Prabhu, a prominent member of the Panchatattva. And just so we have a person and also Hari Gopal Prabhu is in the kitchen preparing prasadam feast for Lord Nityananda. Hare Krishna. So we'll start with some invocation mantras, and then we'll discuss some pastimes and philosophy related to Lord Nityananda's appearance and teachings. Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. I'll recite some texts from the beginning of the first chapter of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, and so you can hear or join along, just to continue to invoke auspiciousness in our gathering. Bande Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Sahudidal Godudaya Pushpabantel Chitral Sandal Tamonudal. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, who are just like the sun and the moon. They've arisen simultaneously on the horizon of God to dissipate the darkness of ignorance in this age of Kali and to wonderfully bestow benediction upon all. Panchatattvat Makam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Svupakam Bhakta Avataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam. Jayatam Surtel Pangur Mamamanda Mater Gati Matsavasva Padambaja Radha Madhan Mohana. Glory to the all-merciful Radha and Madan Mohan. I am lame and ill-advised, yet there are my directors, and their lotus feet are everything to me. Divya Vrindaranya Kalpadrumada Srimad Ratnagara Singhasana Style Srimad Radha Srila Govinda Deva Pristali B Sivyamani Smarami. In a temple of jewels, in a forest in Vrindavan, beneath the desired tree, Sri Sri Radha and Govinda, served by their most confidential associates, sit upon an effulgent throne. I offer them my respectful obeisances. Shri Man Rasa Rasarambi Vamsivata Tatastita Karshan Venu Staner Gopir Gopinata Shri Estuna. Sri Srila Gopinath, who is the inaugurator of the transcendental mellow of the rasa dance, stands upon the shore at Vamsivat and attracts all the cowherd damsels of Vraja with the sound of his celebrated flute. May they all confer upon us their benediction. Om Jnanatimirandasya Gnanjana Shalakaya Chakshurandilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svayamrupa Kadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Saganaraganatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitan Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakanditam Scha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Dr. Kanchan Gorange Radhe Vrindavaneshware Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpata Yubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyeva Cha Patitanan Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Sarasvati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine. Hare Krishna. Today is the appearance day of Lord Nityananda. All right, so there's many pastimes in Prabhupada's books, especially Chaitanya Charitamrita about Lord Nityananda. Yeah, almost without exception. Okay, so Lord Nityananda, he's what's called an avaduta, which means that his pastimes, he demonstrates that a fully transcendental personality like Lord Nityananda is not in any way bound by the rules and regulations. So Prabhupada makes a distinction. There's anusarana. Anusarana means to follow the example, which we're encouraged to do, of Prabhupada, Lord Nityananda, of Krishna. Follow the example. And we want to avoid anukarana, which means to imitate. So sometimes these great personalities, whether they're Krishna, an expansion of Krishna, or an empowered devotee of Krishna, like Prabhupada or Jesus, all their activities, all their pastimes, all their words are completely transcendental, and it's important for us to make the discretion. What are we meant to follow, and what are we meant to appreciate and not imitate? So Lord Nityananda, perhaps more than practically any other of the transcendental personalities, his pastimes tend to overtly illustrate he's not bound by the rules and regulations. These great personalities are never bound by the rules and regulations. But sometimes they, like Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, I'm not bound by the rules and regulations, but I follow them anyway to set an example. And then like that. Okay, so this morning before chanting Japa, Hari Gopal Prabhu and I, we read the pastime of in the 6th chapter of the Anshilil of Chaitanya Charitamrita, Lord Chaitanya and Raghunath Das Goswami, Lord Nityananda and Raghunath Das Goswami. Lord Nityananda was very cheeky and funny. He's funny and humorous and over the edge. And anyhow, he commands Raghunath Das Goswami to arrange a huge prasadam festival, which became known as the Panihati Festival. In Atlanta, every year they have a Panihati festival. Prabhupada named it New Panihati. Okay, so it's special preparations of chipped rice like that. Just to give an idea, again, there's many places where we can focus, and so yes, that okay. So this is just an example. This is the chapter called "The Activities of Sakshi Gopal." Now it's a whole lengthy chapter of Lord Chaitanya narrating the pastimes of the deity Sakshi Gopal. Fascinating chapter, highly recommended. Read it 1, 2, or 10 times. Okay, we read that as part of our Chaitanya Charitamrita study group. But this is just a short excerpt from that chapter towards the end. This is after Lord Nityananda has narrated to the Vaishnavas about the amazing pastimes of Sakshi Gopal deity. All right, so this is I'm just going to read some of the verses just so we get a flavor of it. Okay, so text 141, chapter 5, Majjhila. Kamalapure asi bargi nadisnana koila Nityananda hate prabhu danda darila. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu arrived at Kamalapur, he took his bath in the Bargi Nadi river and left his sannyas staff in the hands of Lord Nityananda. Kind of a bad move on Lord Chaitanya's part. Bad move. Of course, it's all transcendental, but we're getting a feel. Okay, all right, so let's see where we get. Now, there are some purports. So right now, I'm not going to be reading the purports. So it goes on. When Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to the temple of Lord Shiva, known as Kapoteshwar, Nityananda Prabhu, who was keeping his sannyas staff in custody, broke the staff in 3 parts and threw it into the river Barganadi. Later, this river became known as Dandabanga Nadi, which means the river of the broken staff. There's an ashram called the Sannyas ashram. And in the Vaishnav sannyasis, maybe you've seen, they hold what's called a danda, it's called a stick, and there's the symbolism for that, this and that. So Lord Chaitanya is like, oh, I'm going to bathe in the river, I'm going to see this deity. So to Lord Nityananda, could you just hold this for a few minutes? Okay, so Lord Chaitanya breaks it and throws it in the river. All right. Srila Prabhupada, at the beginning of his purport, says the mystery of the Sannyastanda staff of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has been explained by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Sarasvati Thakur. I'm not going to go into the whole purport. So it goes on. Jagannathera duladeki avishta hoila dandavat kari preme nachite lagila. After seeing the temple of Jagannath from a distant place, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu immediately became ecstatic. After offering obeisances to the temple, he began to dance in the ecstasy of love of God. All the devotees became ecstatic in the association of Lord Chaitanya, and thus absorbed in love of God, they were dancing and singing while going along the main road. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu laughed, cried, danced, and made many ecstatic vibrations and sounds. Although the temple was only 6 miles away, to him the distance seemed thousands of miles. Thus, walking and walking, the Lord eventually arrived at the place known as Ataranala. Arriving there, he expressed his external consciousness, speaking to Sri Nityananda Prabhu. When Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had thus regained external consciousness, he asked Lord Nityananda Prabhu, please return my staff. Nityananda Prabhu then replied, it has been broken into 3 parts. We can note the passive language. It has been broken. What's the communication here? Okay. Prema veshe padvila tumi tomare darinu toma saha seidanda upare padinu. Nityananda Prabhu said, when you fell down in ecstasy, I caught you, but both of us together fell upon the staff. Like you think like, okay, like he's caught, he's going to give an honest account. So again, Nityananda, it's like, yeah, we don't want to imitate. We don't want to imitate this. But okay, so all the pastimes of the Lord and his associates and his pure devotees, Nityananda is Balaram, appearing in the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya. And so all the pastimes are transcendental. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Jamma karma chavedimya chamedvayam evam yoveti tatvita chatudayam punarjama netima meti sarjuna. That want to really realize the transcendental nature of the pastimes and activities, including the appearance and disappearance of the pure devotees and Krishna, that is liberation. That is non-different from being back to Godhead. And so we can think like, oh, okay, well, here's something, like we can go to the movies and have some pastimes about some fictional characters, or we can read in politics and read about some pastimes and speeches. Same thing. No, it's just like we can think, well, we can chant it, we can chant Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola, same thing as no. So it's a different quality of vibration. Similarly, it's a different quality of pastime. And by transforming, transferring our consciousness to the transcendental names, transcendental qualities, transcendental, there are so many forms we can look at. We all like to look at forms. And it's all the same as like the forms in the Krishna temple. No, these are transcendental forms. We get attached to these forms of Srila Prabhupada, of the Panchatattva of Lord Nrsingadev. We get attached to these forms, and then we're alive in self-realization, and we're turning with a devotional attitude to the Supreme, get attached to other forms, names, and pastimes. We get more and more entangled in the illusion that we are the body and misery that goes with that. So Nityananda Prabhu said, when you fell down in ecstasy, I caught you, but both of us together fell upon the staff. Thus the staff broke under our weight. Where the pieces have gone, I cannot say. his eyes moving to the side, shifty eyes. It is certainly because of my offense that your staff is broken. Now you can punish me on this account as you think proper. After hearing the story about how his staff had been broken, the Lord expressed a little sadness and, displaying a bit of anger, began to speak as follows. Okay, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "You have all benefited me by bringing me to Nilachala. However, my only possession was that one staff." It's like like he doesn't have a bank account. He doesn't. He doesn't have, like, fancy cars or how. He has nothing. All I had was that one staff. I just said, Nityananda, could you just look after it for a few minutes? He's clearly not buying into the story. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "You have all benefited me by bringing me to Nilachala. However, my only possession was that one staff, and you have not kept it. So all of you should go before or behind me to see Lord Jagannath. I shall not go with you." Okay. That pastime goes on a bit, just to get a mood of the pastimes of they're kind of all in that sort of outrageous, not bound by rules and regulations spirit. And so a pastime that I thought to focus on of Lord Nityananda. This is Lord Nityananda appearing in a dream. And like if Lord Nityananda or Srila Prabhupada or Krishna, Srimati Radharani, if they appear in dreams, this is completely real. This is completely real. So Srila Prabhupada, he gave us what's important for us, for our self-realization and developing love of Godhead, love of Krishna. And so he gave us Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. And that's the core. And there's thousands of Vedas. There's thousands of Vedas. And it's not an accident that he focused on those three. And so, Bhagavad Gita spoken by Krishna himself, and it's described that Srila Vyasadeva, he compiled all the Vedas. This is described in the first canto of Bhagavatam. He compiled the Vedas, and then he was despondent. He was depressed because he knew that, especially in Kali Yuga, people would miss the point. People would miss they wouldn't get, because they get this, because there are Vedas about karma kanda, jnana kanda, demigod worship, and they all have their place and they're there for a reason, yes. At the same time, they're all meant to lead to pure bhakti. And that's there in the Bhagavad Gita gives so many paths, and they all without fail lead to pure bhakti. And if we don't get bhakti for Krishna, love, devotional service to Krishna, if we don't get that as the central thread, as the connecting thread, then Bhagavad Gita can just seem like a hodgepodge mishmash. Well, it says this is cool. I like this part, like that. And like it's just like this disjointed threads. So fortunately, Srila Prabhupada can't really go even a page or two without getting like, here's the purpose. Here's what it all leads to of jnana yoga, of demigod worship, of controlling the breath. It's all there in Bhagavad Gita. Sarvadaman pravidyadya mamekam sharanam braja tvam sarva papebhyo mokshaya shami masucha. Krishna culminates his teachings to Arjuna. Abandon all yoga, abandon all religion, and just surrender to me. I'll deliver you from all sinful reactions. And that's the goal of all yoga. Like Bhagavad Gita is the source book of the physical, the asanas. So at the end of that section, 5th chapter, 6th chapter, Krishna concludes, Yoginam api sarvesham matketenantaratmana shradvan bhajate yomam sameyuktatamo mata. And the goal of all this, the goal of all the asanas and the breathing is to devote yourself with full bhaja, full absorption in serving me. And then there's the jnana yoga, the study, the scholarship. That's part of it. And the goal of all that, bahunam janmanamante, ganamanma prapajante, vasudeva sabramiti, samahatma sudurlabha. That if someone is serious on the path of study to find truth, not just study to get admired or profit or adoration or distinction, just like some people might collect Mercedes Benz, or some people might collect money in the bank account. We can collect. I've read these books and I have this knowledge. It's just a more subtle form of collecting material things, right? But then Krishna says, if someone's sincere in that path, they'll come to realize that I, Vasudev, the son of Vasudeva and Devaki, I am the source of everything, and they'll devote themselves to me. Similarly, in our morning Bhagavatam reading, we're reading a lot in the third canto. Maitreya's instructions to Vidura about the Varnashram system. Atapubir, Dijashrestas, Varnashrama Vibhagasha, Sonustitasya Dharmasya Samsadir Haritoshanam, that the highest perfection one can achieve from fulfilling their responsibilities in their job, in their family, is to please Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead. And there are other paths too, all leading to bhakti, all leading to devotion to Krishna. All right, so, but the Bhagavad Gita is vast, and the Bhagavad Gita is just a small section of Mahabharata. It's the goal, it's the crescent jewel of the Mahabharata. But the Mahabharata is vast, and most people they're not going to get the point. So Vyasadeva, he was despondent. His spiritual master, Narada Muni, comes and says, empathic dialogue there. You seem depressed. You seem despondent. What's happening? Vyasadeva says, you don't even need to ask, because look, I know you see me. You have empathy. You see what's in my heart. You don't even need to ask. Narada Muni says, yeah, you're right. Yeah, I see what's happening. But you have such compassion, and you see with all of this literature that you've compiled, Tatvaya Samtirtha, Narada Muni says, all this literature, it's like a pilgrimage place for crows. Crows are a type of bird that are just attracted to stool and blood and garbage, as opposed to swans. That's why the Bhagavatam, it's for the swan-like people, not the crow-like people. And we can keep in mind that Srila Vyasadeva, it's not like he was writing some cheap romance novels or something. He was giving the Upanishads. He was giving the Rig Veda. That's like so what would today's literature be if that was like a pilgrimage? So Vyasadeva, yeah, he got that. And then after hearing from Narada Muni, he was on the banks of the Sarasvati River, a very beautiful scene surrounded by berry trees. He had a cottage, and he went into a trance of bhakti. Bhakti yogena manasi samyak pranihite male. Apashat pusham pornam mayam chayat ahetukam. He went to a trance of bhakti, and he saw, okay. And so he came out of it. He came out of it with clear inspiration to, I would say write, but it's not like writing in the ordinary sense we think of writing a book. We can say he revealed the eternal Bhagavatam. Anarto Pashamam Sakshat, Bhakti Yogam at Hokshaje. You can see people are suffering because they mistakenly think they're the body, and they get entangled in all sorts of viciousness and lust and greed, and they're suffering. Janas lokasya janatad vivams chakra satvata samhita. So as a result, he revealed the Bhagavatam, which is giving Krishna. And then the Sri, like in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is like, so the goal is surrender to me with pure bhakti. And Bhagavatam, this is what that looks like. And then Lord Chaitanya, Krishna is Lord Chaitanya. Prabhupada sometimes gives the example of like a teacher will sit with the student. A teacher will sit with the student, and he'll sit with the student, and he'll take his hand, like, here's how you write A, and here's how you write B and C. Now the teacher is expert in writing ABC, but this is like, so Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. They are Krishna and Balaram, and they're appearing because, again, the goal of Bhagavad Gita, the goal of all the Vedas is devotion to Krishna. So Lord Chaitanya is Sri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nayanya. He's a combined form of Radha and Krishna, showing us here's how to serve Krishna. So Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, they're Krishna and Balaram, showing us they're in the form of devotees of Krishna, showing us here's how to do it. A, B, like that. Okay. So, all right. So Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, it's revealed by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, and in one sense, it's revealed on the impetus, on the inspiration of Lord Nityananda. So so this is from the 5th chapter of the Adi Lila. And yeah, the fifth chapter of the Adi Lila. I just thought to read a bit from here. And this relates, and we have a book up there with Lord Nityananda in this kind of very majestic, triumphant form. So we're going to read. What's that about? All right. Yes. Yeah. So this is 5th chapter Adi Lila. I'm starting with text 156. Let's just see where we go with it. Sri Chaitanya say Krishna Nityananda Ram Nityananda Purnakare Chaitanya Rakam. Lord Chaitanya is the same. Lord Krishna and Lord Nityananda is Lord Balaram. Lord Nityananda fulfills all of Lord Chaitanya's desires. The ocean of Lord Nityananda's glories is infinite and unfathomable. Only by his mercy can I touch even a drop of it. Ara eka shunatanra kripara mahima adamaji vere chadoila ordvasima. Please listen to another glory of his mercy. He made a fallen living entity climb to the highest limit. He's referring to Lord Nityananda. This whole chapter is entitled The Glories of Lord Nityananda Balaram. So we're reading an excerpt from the chapter. And it's basically Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami sharing with us how he became inspired by Lord Nityananda to reveal the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Veda Guya Kata E Ayogya Kahite Tatapi Kahiye Tanra Kripa Prakashite. To disclose it is not proper, for it should be kept as confidential as the Vedas. Yet I shall speak of it to make his mercy known to all. Hare Krishna Rohini, welcome. O Lord Nityananda, I write of your mercy out of great exultation. Please forgive me for my offenses. Lord Nityananda Prabhu had a servant named Sri Minaketana Ramdas, who was a reservoir of love. Now, as we shared, Lord Nityananda's pastimes tend to be wild, outrageous. Okay. So his pure, sincere followers kind of are in the same mood as yeah, kind of in the same mood. All right. All right. So Sri Minikena Tarandas. At my house, that's Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami speaking, there was Sankirtan day and night. You can just imagine. They say somewhere in West Bengal, Sankirtan day and night, 24 hours. Like that's life. Okay. And therefore, he visited there, Miniketa Ramdas, having been invited. Ma prema maya tino basila angane sakala vaishnava tanra bandila charane. Absorbed in emotional love, he sat in my courtyard, and all the Vaishnavas bowed down at his feet. In a joyful mood of love of God, he sometimes climbed upon the shoulder of someone offering obeisances, and sometimes he struck others with his flute or mildly slapped them. Again, so this is something we can appreciate. Anusarana, follow the example of chanting in ecstasy, not anukarana, like in other words, like we probably don't want to be like slapping people and offering obeisances or climbing on their shoulders. Okay, we're not imitating, but we can appreciate. Okay. When someone saw the eyes of Minaketana Ramdas, tears would automatically flow from his own eyes. for a constant shower of tears flowed from the eyes of Miniketan Ramdas. Sometimes there were eruptions of ecstasy like kadamba flowers on some parts of his body, and sometimes one limb would be stunned while another would be trembling. Nityananda Balaya Bekarina Hunkar Tahadeke Lokerahaya Mahachamatkar. Whenever he shouted aloud the name Nityananda, the people around him were filled with great wonder and astonishment. One respectable Brahmin named Sri Gunarnava Mishra was serving the deity. When Nina Ketana was seated in the yard, this Brahmin did not offer him respect. Seeing this, Sri Ramdas became angry and spoke. See, now we can think like, he's so proud and arrogant, he wants people to offer him respect. See, it's a thing on the surface. That's why, like, or Lord Nityananda breaking Lord Chaitanya's sannyas staff, we can think like, this he's violating his right. There's deeper meanings here, not that I have grasp of all the deeper meaning, but Miniketan could see that it's not about me, but this Brahmin, he's not respecting Lord Nityananda. It's not about me, okay? But on the surface, someone could criticize Miniketan, and some did, okay? So there's different layers of meaning here. Okay, so we can get into the different layers of philosophical meaning, or we could just have fun with the pastimes here. Okay, Ramdas became angry and spoke. Here I find the second Romaharshan Sutta, who did not stand to show honor when he saw Lord Balaram. Okay, maybe some of you are probably familiar with the Romaharshan Sutta pastime from Krishna book, 10th canto, Krishna book. Okay, so again, Nityananda, he is Lord Balaram in Lord Chaitanya's pastime. So there's a pastime in Krishna book. If you don't know it, read it. Transcendental pastime. And Lord Balaram entered the assembly at Namisharanya, where Bhagavatam was spoken, and everyone stood because I understood who he was. Romaharshan didn't stand, and anyhow, as it turns out, Lord Balaram killed him, forced him to leave his body with a blade of grass. Okay, I'm not going to get, again, Lord Nityananda, Lord Balaram, there's some similarities to their personalities. They're the same personality. And that led to Romaharshan Sutta's son, Sutta Goswami, speaking the Bhagavatam. All right. So, Ektabali Natsegaya Karye Santosh Krishna Karya Kare Viprana Karila Rosh. After saying this, he danced and sang to his heart's content, but the Brahmin did not become angry, for he was then serving Lord Krishna. At the end of the festival, Miniketan Ramdas went away, offering his blessings to everyone. At that time, he had some controversy with my brother. My brother had firm faith in Lord Chaitanya, but only a dim glimmer of faith in Lord Nityananda. Knowing this, Sri Ramdas felt unhappy in his mind. I then rebuked my brother. These two brothers, I told him, are like one body. They are identical manifestations. If you do not believe in Lord Nityananda, you will fall down. If you have faith in one but disrespect the other, your logic is like the logic of accepting half a hen. It's actually in Vedic logic studies. There's different approaches to logic. And so Prabhupada writes in a footnote, a foolish farmer once thought he would save money by cutting off his hen's head, which he had to feed, and leaving its tail, which produced the eggs. We get it? It's an economic calculation. Hence the term Arda Kukuti Naya, literally half hen logic. It doesn't work. Like, oh yeah, I'll just keep the back part. Well, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. No. Kim Madonna Namanina Halta Pasanda Ekamani Arenamani Matabanda. It would be better to be an atheist by slighting both brothers than a hypocrite by believing in one and slighting the other. We got plenty of room here. It's all kind of crunched there. If anyone, I mean, you can stay there if you want, but just we've got spaciousness, abundance of space and things, if you'd like. Okay, so Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he's expressing transcendental anger with his brother, okay, because for not realizing Lord Nityananda's position. Thus, Sri Ramdas, broke his flute in anger and went away, and at that time my brother fell down. I have thus described the power of the servants of Lord Nityananda. Now I shall describe another characteristic of his mercy. So let's continue to hear Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami's relation with Lord Nityananda. Baike Bart Sinumune Lana E Guna Se Ratre Prabhu More Dila Darashana. That night, Lord Nityananda appeared to me in a dream because of my good quality in chastising my brother. In the village of Jamatapur, which is near Naihati, Lord Nityananda appeared to me in a dream. I fell at his feet, offering my obeisances, and he then placed his own lotus feet upon my head. Just get into the dream of Lord of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. Uta uta bali more, bali barabara, uti tanra rupade ki hoinu chamatkar. Arise, get up. He told me again and again. Upon rising, I was greatly astonished to see his beauty. He had a glossy, blackish complexion, and his tall, strong, heroic stature made him seem like Cupid himself. He had beautifully formed hands, arms, and legs, and eyes like lotus flowers. He wore a silk cloth with a silk turban on his head. He wore golden earrings on his ears and golden armlets and bangles. He wore tinkling anklets on his feet and a garland of flowers around his neck. His body was anointed with sandalwood pulp, and he was nicely decorated with tilak. His movements surpassed those of a maddened elephant. So this is pictured in the picture we have there on the top of the altar. Koti Chandradini Mukha Ujvala Varana Dadiba Bija Samadanta Tambula Charvana. His face was more beautiful than millions upon millions of moons, and his teeth were like pomegranate seeds because of his chewing betel. His body moved to and fro, right and left, for he was absorbed in ecstasy. He chanted, Krishna, Krishna, in a deep voice. His red stick moving in his hand, he seemed like a maddened lion. All around the four sides of his feet were bumblebees. His devotees, dressed like cowherd boys, surrounded his feet like so many bees and also chanted, Krishna, Krishna, absorbed in ecstatic love. Some of them played horns and flutes, and others danced and sang. Some of them offered betel nuts, and others waved chamara fans about him. Nityananda Svarupara Dekhiya Vaibhav Kiba Rupa Guna Lila Alokika Sabha. Thus I saw such opulence in Lord Nityananda Swarup. His wonderful form, qualities, and pastimes are all transcendental. Anandevi Vala Ami Kichunahi Jani. Tabe hasi Prabhu more kahile navani. I was overwhelmed with transcendental ecstasy, not knowing anything else. Then Lord Nityananda smiled and spoke to me as follows. Are Are Krishna Das Nakaraham Baya Vrindavane Yatanha Sarva Labhya Hoya. Oh, my dear Krishna Das, do not be afraid. Go to Vrindavan, for there you will attain all things. I'll read that again. My dear Krishna Das, do not be afraid. Go to Vrindavan, for there you will attain all things. Etabali Pravila More Hata Sani Dia Antardana Koila Prabhu Nijaganalana. After saying this, he directed me toward Vrindavan by waving his hand. Then he disappeared with his associates. I fainted and fell to the ground. My dream broke, and when I regained consciousness, I saw that morning had come. I thought about what I had seen and heard and concluded that the Lord had ordered me to proceed to Vrindavan at once. That very second, I started for Vrindavan, and by his mercy, I reached there in great happiness. Let's just not gloss over this. So, my understanding, like he's like into his 90s. He's arthritic, like physically, like he can barely walk. I don't know, Vrindavan from where he was, 1,000 miles, something like that. Okay, like so. Okay, so just like. So if what we're hearing is that he didn't like, well, of course I took care, I needed to, make sure the insurance on the house was paid, and I had some family dealings to take care of, and then I need to check on a few things and just make sure this and that. No, that very second, Sayakani, I started for Vrindavan. So just full trust. Okay. Let's just absorb that very second. I started for Vrindavan. And by his mercy, I reached there in great happiness. That's important too. Because sometimes, Srila Prabhupada says, chant Hare Krishna. So let's follow Prabhupada, chant Hare Krishna. But Prabhupada didn't just say chant Hare Krishna. He said, chant Hare Krishna and be happy. Oh, okay. Oh, that's like an instruction. Okay. Jaya Jaya Nityananda Ram Yanhara Kripate Painu Vrindavanadam. All glory to Lord Nityananda Balaram, by whose mercy I have attained shelter in the transcendental abode of Vrindavan. Jaya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Kripa Moya Yanha Hoite Painu Rupa Sanatana Shraya. All glory to the merciful Lord Nityananda, by whose mercy I have attained shelter at the lotus feet of Sri Rupa and Sri Sanatan. By his mercy, I have attained the shelter of the great personality, Sri Raghunath Das Goswami, and by his mercy, I have found the refuge of Sri Svarup Damodar. I mentioned earlier this morning, before Japa period, Hari Gopal and I read the pastime of Lord Nityananda and Raghunath Das Goswami in the 6th chapter of the Ancha Lila. It's the chipped rice festival pastime. Every day is a wonderful day to be observed in Lord Nityananda. Today is a special day for that. Sanatana Kripaya Painu Bhaktira Siddhanta Sri Rupa Kripaya Painu Bhakti Rasa Pranta. By the mercy of Sanatan Goswami, I have learned the final conclusions of devotional service. And then by the grace of Sri Rupa Goswami, I have tasted the highest nectar of devotional service. Jai Jai Nityananda Charanaravinda Yana Hoite Painu Sri Radha Govinda. All glory to the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda, by whose mercy I have attained Sri Radha Govinda. Next is a verse. Interestingly, there's no purport to the next verse, number 205 in this Adi Leela chapter 5. It's a verse that Prabhupada quotes a lot. Although right here, there's no purport, but in his other purports and his lectures, he quotes this a lot. So this is Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami speaking. Jagai Madai Hoite Muni Se Papishta Puishera Kita Hoite Muni Se Lagishta. I am more sinful than Jagai and Madai, and even lower than the worms in the stool. I'll read that again. I am more sinful than Jagai and Madai, and even lower than the worms in the stool. So maybe all of you are familiar. The pastimes of Jagai and Madai, that these are very rich pastimes featuring Lord Nityananda. I won't go into it, but these are key pastimes in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Jagai and Madai, these weren't like mischievous fellows. Like, no, they were quite vicious. Murder, rape, like that. Okay. And like they were causing just a lot of agony and suffering for the residents of Navadvip. And I'll be briefly, so Lord Nityananda, along with Haridas Thakur, they go to him and they don't want to like rebuke them. They're just like, please chant Hare Krishna. Please chant Hare Krishna. So Jagai Mind, they're drunk and they're just completely in layers of illusion and like that. And then they get, actually Madai got so angry that how dare you don't you know we're the controllers of this town. They're like the mafia bosses of the town. And then they actually throw a broken pot. Madai throws a broken pot, hits Lord, and Lord Nityananda is bleeding. He's bleeding. All right, so it's all I'm oversimplifying the pastime, but basically Lord Nityananda is bleeding. And then what does Nityananda do? He falls at the feet of Jagai and Madai. Yeah, this is all right, whatever. Just please chant Hare Krishna. Please chant Hare Krishna. And then at that point, Jagai, particularly, Jagai is like, he's getting, whoa, this is like like the humility of Lord Nityananda. He was moved. He was this is like a special person, or something, like very completely Jesus-like. Forget they know not what they do. They forget complete Jesus. And then at that point, so the word got to Lord Chaitanya that Jaga and Madai, they actually physically injured Lord Nityananda. So Lord Chaitanya, his whole mission, because like Krishna's mission, we know, like Krishna, he kills demons. And he killed the Putna demon, he killed the Trinavartans, Sakatasura, and Bakasura, and Agasura, and Aristasura. Krishna kills Kamsa. Krishna kills demons. Lord Chaitanya is Krishna, showing us how to be a devotee of Krishna. And his mission is not to kill the demons. His mission is to destroy the demoniac consciousness in our heart, not to kill demons. But Lord Chaitanya forgot about his mission. He got so enraged that they would do that to Lord Nityananda, that Lord Chaitanya, so he comes on the scene and he's manifesting his chakra, like slices off heads and things. He's manifesting his chakra. And then Lord Chaitanya grabs his feet. No, Lord Nityananda grabs his feet. And Lord Chaitanya doesn't mind if he's insulted, but that his dear Nityananda Prabhu is insulted. This is intolerable, and he forgot. So Lord Nityananda Prabhu was reminding him, in this mission, in this incarnation, you're not killing demons. Remember, you're not doing that. And so it was like they had some exchange there, like that. And then ultimately, and so then it's like an astounding story of transformation, the transformation of Jaga and Maya, because these were the most hard-hearted, vicious criminals in their heart, and through the mercy of Lord Nityananda, and it wasn't like instantaneous. They went through a period where like they were feeling so guilt and shame. They went to everyone they offended, like the family members of those who they murdered and raped and like that. And they said, like, please throw stones at us. They needed to be punished. And it was quite a heart-wrenching scenes. Okay. So Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, the revealer of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, he's saying, I'm more sinful than Jaga and Madai, and even lower than the worms in the stool. So we could think, oh, they need some self-esteem process. They need to. He needs to get a contract or something like that. Okay, so it's an important point, because this is not artificial humility. He's really feeling that way, and this isn't because like we can go into, oh, I'm so unworthy, I'm so undeserving. And that moves us to hide under the covers. It moves us like, I'm not pure enough to read the Bhagavatam, so I'll stop reading Prabhupada's books. We've heard things like that. Okay. Yes, I'm so fallen and unworthy that like I don't even deserve to chant Hare Krishna. I don't deserve this most wonderful process. And it's like, there's a subtext that makes me really spiritual because I'm humble. I mean, there's a subcontext, there's sub-conversation. Right, so that's Maya. That's like the false humility. That's a Maya disempowerment. Similarly to Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, Srila Prabhupada on the Jaladuta, right, in his poetry on the Jaladuta there at Boston Harbor. Srila Prabhupada writes, he's writing to Srila Bhakti Siddhanta and Sri Krishna. Prabhupada writes, I have no knowledge and no devotion. Sometimes I think I have knowledge and devotion. Okay. So Prabhupada's really thinking, he's really feeling he has no knowledge and devotion. So he said, oh, he has self-esteem issues. No, and we can see. So this is spiritual humility, spiritual feeling low. How do we know it's spiritual? Palina parichiyate, or as Jesus said, we can judge a tree by its fruit. Because Srila Prabhupada feeling so unqualified, that moved him to unbreakable determination to serve the mission of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta. And because of Srila Prabhupada's feeling low and unqualified, and the profound enthusiasm that he connected with in that, that's why here we are all around the world, including North Florida, chanting Hare Krishna and reading Chaitanya Charitamrita, because of, so that we can judge a thing by its result. We can judge a tree by its fruit, right? So our feeling low and undeserving and unworthy is the result of that I'm becoming more and more alienated from this the devotion that's natural to the spirit, from the love of Krishna, or is, like was in Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami's case, his feeling more sinful than Jagai and Madai, lower than the worms in stool. That's moving him, despite he's well into his 90s, he can't even write. It's moving him to reveal Chaitanya Charitamrita. So this is spiritual emotion. Every emotion has its spiritual counterhole, its spiritual origin, and then its material, shadowy, perverted reflection. Moranama shuneye tara punyakshaya, moranama layaye tara papa haya. Anyone who hears my name loses the results of his pious activities. Anyone who utters my name becomes sinful. Emana nigrina more keba kripa kare eka Nityananda vinu jagat bitare. Who in this world but Nityananda could show his mercy to such an abominable person as me? Forget, this is true humility. Because he is intoxicated by ecstatic love and is an incarnation of mercy, he does not distinguish between the good and the bad. He delivers all those who fall down before him. Therefore, he has delivered such a sinful and fallen person as me. Although I am sinful and I am the most fallen, he has conferred upon me the lotus feet of Sri Rupa Goswami. I am not fit to speak all these confidential words about my visiting Lord Madan Gopal and Lord Govinda. Lord Madan Gopal, the chief deity of Vrindavan, is the enjoyer of the rasa dance and is directly the son of the king of Vraja. He enjoys the rasa dance with Srimati Radharani, Sri Lalita, and others. He manifests himself as the Cupid of Cupids. We started invoking Jayatam Surital Pangur Mamamanda Mater Gatir Matsubasa Piramboja Radha Madan and Mohana. Glory to the all-merciful Radha and Madan Mohan. I am lame and ill-advised, yet they are my directors, and their lotus feet are everything to me. So Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami, he's absorbed in the presence of Shri Radha Madan Mohan. With Radha and Lalita serving him on his two sides, he attracts the hearts of all by his own sweetness. The mercy of Lord Nityananda showed me Sri Madan Mohan and gave me Sri Madan Mohan as my Lord and Master. He granted to one as low as me the sight of Lord Govinda. Words cannot describe this, nor is it fit to be described. On an altar made of gems in the principal temple of Vrindavan, amidst a forest of desire trees, Lord Govinda, the son of the king of Vraja, sits upon a throne of gems and manifests his full glory and sweetness, thus enchanting the entire world. Vam Vama Parshve Shrivarika Sakigana Sange Rasadika Lila Prabhu Kare Katarange. By his left side is Srimati Radharani and her personal friends. With them, Lord Govinda enjoys the Rasa Lila and many other pastimes. Lord Brahma, sitting on his lotus seat in his own abode, always meditates on him and worships him with the mantra consisting of 18 syllables. Everyone in the 14 worlds meditates upon him, and all the denizens of Vaikuntha sing of his qualities and pastimes. The goddess of fortune is attracted by his sweetness, which Srila Rupa Goswami has described in this way. Next, Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami quotes a verse from Rupa Goswami in the Lagu Bhagavatamrita. The translation is, "My dear friend, if you are indeed attached to your worldly friends, do not look at the smiling face of Lord Govinda as he stands on the bank of the Yamuna at Keshi Ghat." So Rupa Goswami he's advising against looking at Krishna. He's advising against Krishna consciousness. He's warning, he's cautioning, don't do it if you at all value societal love, friendship. Yes, it's society, friendship, love. Cat, yeah, yes, listen, yeah. Casting sidelong glances, Sri Govinda places his flute to his lips, which seem like newly blossomed twigs. His transcendental body, bending in 3 places, appears very bright in the moonlight. So again, Prabhupada quotes this verse a lot from Rupa Goswami. My dear friend, if you are indeed attached to your worldly friends, do not look at the smiling face of Lord Govinda as he stands on the bank of the Yamuna at Keshigat. We probably all have some experience that once we came to Krishna consciousness, it ruined our life in some way, right? We had plans for life, and then I sometimes say in the summer of '83, I was backpacking around Europe, and I stopped at Villa Vrindavan outside of Florence, Italy, and I read Bhagavad Gita as it is, cover to cover. Ruined my life. Now I'm dedicated to share it with others like that.
Hurt people.
Yeah, hurt people. I feel understood. Yeah, I feel understood there. Yes. Yes. So that's it. So this Krishna is so attractive that whatever material attachments we have, then they just pale even. Yeah, was it? I think I heard you say it was just you led the class yesterday morning, Anasuya in 5:30, and like you used to be attached to certain types of literature. And now you're reading Prabhupada and Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. Now you've lost because you made the mistake. You made the mistake.
I don't read fiction.
Yeah. So Teresa, there should be like a warning on the label. It's addictive. Of course, the thing is, we're going to be attached. We're going to be addicted. Because Prabhupada will say that Rupa Goswami is negatively glorifying Krishna consciousness. We're going to be attached. We're going to be addicted. Our choice is to be attached and addicted to that which is spiritual or that which is material. To the extent that we choose spiritual addictions, chanting Hare Krishna, reading Chaitanya Charitamrita, consuming only prasadam, to the extent that we choose material, spiritual attachments, then we're free. Well, then we're free from the pushing and pulling of the material modes of nature. That's liberation. A few more verses complete this chapter. I'll complete it. Without a doubt, he is directly the son of the king of Raja. Only a fool considers him a statue. For that offense, he cannot be liberated. Rather, he will fall into a terrible hellish condition. What more should I say? Therefore, who can describe the mercy of the lotus feet of him, Lord Nityananda, by whom I have attained the shelter of this Lord Govinda? All the groups of Vaishnavas who live in Vrindavan are absorbed in chanting the all-auspicious name of Krishna. Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda are the life and soul of those Vaishnavas who do not know anything but devotional service to Sri Sri Radha Krishna. The dust and shade of the lotus feet of the Vaishnavas have been granted to this fallen soul by the mercy of Lord Nityananda. Lord Nityananda said, in Vrindavan, all things are possible. Here I have explained his brief statement in detail. Se sabapainu ami Vrindavane aya se sabalapya e prabhura kripaya. I have attained all this by coming to Vrindavan, and this was made possible by the mercy of Lord Nityananda. Apanara kataliki nirlajaha iya Nityananda gune lekaya unmata karya. I have described my own story without reservations, the attributes of Lord Nityananda, making me like a madman, forced me to write these things. Nityananda Prabhura Guna Mahima Apara Sahasravadane Sheshanahi Paya Yanra. The glories of Lord Nityananda's transcendental attributes are unfathomable. Even Lord Shesha, with his thousands of mouths, cannot find their limit. And the final verse of this and most chapters of Chaitanya Charitamrita is Sri Rupa Raghunatha Padeyara As Chaitanya Charitamrita Kahe Krishna Das, praying at the lotus feet of Sri Rupa and Sri Raghunath, always desiring their mercy. I, Krishna Das, narrate Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, following in their footsteps. Lord Nityananda Prabhu ki, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. Hare Krishna. Thanks for your immersion and absorption in the pastimes of Lord Nityananda Prabhu. I welcome if anyone would like to share any inspirations, comments, ask any questions. If anyone would like to share, comment, ask at this time.
I'll share.
Anasuya.
We had class this morning. And so we read the same verses. So like Jai.
Yeah, these verses.
The exact same verses.
Beautiful, beautiful.
We all took turns reading the
Yeah.
verses. And so yeah, I was really connecting with, where I'm at in my life. So I'm 61, gonna be 62 in May. And
Yeah.
like I'm really showing, like you said, following by his example.
Yeah.
And not trying to imitate.
Not trying to imitate
but
it.
like, really seeing the essence of embracing this amazing instruction that Prabhupada is giving us.
Yeah.
And then for this pure servant also to share, his actual accounts of what happened because he was there. I mean, it's so amazing. That's why this is not fiction.
Yeah.
This is real life
Yeah.
experiences, and he's conveying them to us. It's like amazing and so pure and purifying in itself. And so it just gives me even more encouragement and excitement to study these beautiful pastimes, because it's someone is actually conveying what his whole accounts were. The residents of Vrindavan pleaded with him to please write this.
Yes.
And he was taken, like you said, almost blind and not
Yeah.
hearing as well, and his hands are just writing because Nityananda's instructions are there. And so he was just so pure, and it was just like Prabhupada, right? So he later in life becomes that he writes, and he wants to give us all that he can before he leaves this earth. And so it feels so inspiring, like, this is my time to wake up. This is my time to get, strong. So I was just feeling really, really empowered this morning.
Mhm.
So just wanted to share. And I have a question.
Yeah.
So we were trying to figure out, because he was there during the pastimes, like how old was he? Like how I was trying to think, maybe in his late 30s, early 40s, because I was thinking.
How old was who?
I'm sorry, the author, Krishna.
Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami?
Yeah, because I was trying to think, like, so this was in the first part of the 3 books. And so the first book is dedicated to Lord Chaitanya's first years of life. And Lord Chaitanya was here for 48 years.
Yeah.
So it's just, and I know the stories don't always come in this sequential order of, it's not linear.
Nice.
But I was just thinking, okay, so Lord Chaitanya was here for 48 years. And then the author was here for 90 something years. Yeah. So I guess I was thinking maybe he had a long, fruitful life in Vrindavan. Like maybe half of his life, or more than half of his life, was in Vrindavan, and that's why he even more.
You and the others present this morning were wondering about the chronology and the age.
Yes, and so I was just speculating, but I knew I was probably incorrect. So if you had more knowledge of that, we were curious. Yeah.
I appreciate your sharing your question. Thank you, Anasuya. Yeah, well, I appreciate. Yeah, so this is like the second time you're absorbed in Nityananda appearing in the dream of Krishna Kaviraj, and this is a successful day.
It is.
That's beautiful. And okay, yeah, thanks for. That's just wonderful that every morning you're absorbed there, in transcendental vibrations. So okay, so a bit about the structure of Chaitanya Charitamrita. So Chaitanya Charitamrita, the first 14 verses are like the indication. It's like they're the Mangala Charana. Just like Prabhupada at the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, he starts with Om Mangana Timirandasya Gananjana Sri Chaitanya. So that's a Mangala Charana. So the first 14 verses, the Mangala Charana. And then the next 3 verses, 15, 16, 17, Krishna's Kaviraj is invoking the 3 main deities of Vrindavan, Madan Mohan, Govinda, Gopinath. Verse 18 is Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda Jai Vaita Chandra Jai Gaura Bhakta. Then the first 12 chapters unpack those first 14 verses. Then the rest of Chaitanya Charitamrita, meaning chapters 13 through 13 through 17 of the Adi Leela, and then all the Madhya Leela, all the Ancha Leela, they expand on those first 12 chapters. So the chronological pastimes of Lord Chaitanya they really only start in chapter 13 of the Adi Leela. Everything before that is preface that includes some pastimes, but not in any chronological way, really. Like there's some pastimes from the end of the Madhya Leela that are there in chapter 7 to illustrate some philosophical principles. So the appearance of Lord Chaitanya starts in chapter 13 of the Adi Leela. So yeah, when Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami revealed Chaitanya Charitamrita, my understanding, he was in his 90s, couldn't hear, couldn't see, like that, but completely transcendentally inspired. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he never had, let's call it, that form of Bapu. He never met Lord Chaitanya. So how's he know all about his life? He knows from Raghunath Das Goswami and the Kadachas, the diaries of Murari Gupta. Murari Gupta, he was actually a physician. He was a close associate of Lord Chaitanya in the early pastime, before Lord Chaitanya took sannyas, and he kept careful diary. And Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami had access to that. Of course, Krishnadas Kaviraj, like Sanjay in Bhagavad Gita, he had access to what Prabhupada called mystic television. So that's a whole other dimension. Also, Swarup Damodar Goswami, he was a close associate of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Chaitanya's later pastimes, the Jagannath Puri pastimes. And he kept careful diaries. And Raghunath Das Goswami memorized them. And Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami had close association with Raghunath Das Goswami. So my understanding is that when Lord Nityananda is appearing in the dream of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, go to Vrindavan, there you will achieve all things. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is already like well into his 90s. Okay. That's my understanding. I appreciate the opportunity to speak about Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita.
I was reading in the Srimad Bhagavatam how Balaram, which is where Nityananda comes from, is the original spiritual master.
Yes.
Can you say more about what that means?
Okay. Yeah. Yes. Thank you, Eze. So Balaram and Nityananda, well, there's a lot about that, especially like in that chapter we just read from, and Prabhupada talks a lot about that. So, all right, so Ekaleshwara Krishna Arasabha Britya. So Krishna's supreme controller, everyone else is his servants, including even Balaram. So basically, the spiritual master is just the greatest servant of Krishna. So the first servant of Krishna is Balaram. The first servant of Krishna is Balaram, appearing as Lord Nityananda. So that's what I mean, like, so that the Guru Tattva expands. So Srila Prabhupada's empowerment to be a spiritual master expands from Balaram, expands from Lord Nityananda. That's the essential understanding. So even Balaram, and Balaram is senior to Krishna, but still he's a servant of Krishna. Okay, he has kind of parental affection, older brother affection, just like Nanda and Yashoda, they're senior to Krishna, but they're servants of Krishna. So even Balaram is a servant of Krishna. So that's what it means to be a spiritual master. Krishna Pradesh Amaraga Guru Anatari Desh. No, Yay Krishna Tattva Veda, say Guru Haya. He's just completely absorbed in the science of how to serve Krishna. So Balaram's the Adi, the original spiritual master. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bhaktin Danielle.
Hi, Krishna. So reading this with you today, it stands out to me that we're hearing that only fools consider him a statue, Krishna, Lord Govinda, a statue. And so in the verse before this, he's outlining that he's literally standing on the banks of the Yamuna, the Keshigat, like he's there, and he's placing the flute to his lips. So he's alive, he's standing there, he's got the flute going to his lips, and he's in the moonlight. And then in the next sentence, he says, only fools consider him a statue. And then in the next one, the next verse, for that offense, that person cannot be liberated and he will fall into a terrible hellish condition. And so for me, it feels like he's talking about deities.
Yeah.
Feels like he's going to that place.
Yes,
And
yes.
so I'm curious your thoughts on why this was included here. Like, why is this meaningful in this particular situation? Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Bhaktin Danielle. Okay, well, I'm not claiming to have insight into the subtleties of the psychology of Krishnas Kaviraj Goswami, but essentially Krishnas Kaviraj Goswami, he's telling the story of how he became inspired and empowered to reveal Chaitanya Charitamrita. And it's and that's okay. Basically, that whole section at the end of this chapter we read, the end of chapter 5, it's kind of he's repeating some aspects of those first verses, specifically text 15 and 16 of chapter 1, where basically his inspiration is coming from the Madhan Mohan deity and the Radha Govinda deity. And that's his inspiration. I mean, it's all a cooperation between Lord Nityananda and the deities. So Krishnas Kaviraj Goswami, he's in Vrindavan, and the deities are personally relating with him. So one of those first verses we cited as the invocation verse. It's text 16 of chapter 1 of the first chapter of Adi Leela. Divyad Vindaranya Kalpa Jumara. Srimad Ratnagar Simhasana Stal, Srimad Radha Srila Govinda Deval, Pristali Bisevyamani Smarami. In a temple of jewels in Vrindavan, in a forest of Vrindavan beneath the desire tree, Sri Radha and Govinda, served by their most confidential associates, sit upon an effulgent throne. I offer them my respectful obeisances. So what's happening there is Krishna Kaviraj Goswami, he's there in Vrindavan with the three Sri Radha Govinda deities. And he's not seeing that they're stone. He's not seeing that they're stationary. He's seeing all the Goloka Vrindavan pastimes where the soil is the purpose gem, and every step is a dance, and every word is a song, and all the supreme spiritual entities are always enjoyable and tasty, and so he's seeing in the deed, because he has that vision, he's seeing all these pastimes of Krishna and Radha and Krishna enacted in the deity, and the deity is revealing that to him completely alive. And so he's kind of cautioning us, like, don't see the form of Radha Krishna as stone. So that's kind of the scene. And then he's getting very clear on what his service is to the Vaishnavas through that relationship with Madan Mohan and Radha Govinda. Just like we can perceive, chanting Hare Krishna, we could chant whatever song we hear on the radio, it's the same thing. No, it's of a completely different nature. Due to our mundane consciousness, it can seem like the same thing. So the form of Krishna, the pastimes of Lord Nityananda, just like any pastimes we might see in a movie or something. No, completely different nature. So that's what's going on from my understanding. Thank you, Bhaktin Danielle. Hare Krishna. Okay. Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki,
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki,
Jai.
Srila Krishnas Kaviraj Goswami ki,
Jai.
Lord Nityananda Prabhu ki.
Jai.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Teja Prakash Prabhu, would you, before we go to the prasad part of our program, would you like to lead a kirtan? Thank you.
Krishna Krishna Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nami
Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Itina. Sure, that's good. Yeah, you're welcome. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravamidacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Dishatarine.
Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sriveta Gadadha Srivasadi Gaura Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Lord Nityananda Prabhu. The British Stone Vishnu Pada Paramam Devra Chestra Shukta Shri Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. It's Leela British Stone Vishnu Pada Paramam Devra Chestra Shukta Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Praise Gol Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Vidadara Shri Vasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Shri Radha Krishna Go Gopinath Shamakun Radhakun Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Navi Mayapur Dham Ki Jai. Navi Manamai Ki Jai. Tulasi Devi Ki Jai. Priyat Mardanga Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled. All glories to the assembled. Glories to the assembly. Lord Nityananda Prabhu ki. The appearance day of Sri Nityananda Prabhu ki. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Govinda. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Okay. Have a seat and we'll serve prasad.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you for dancing and singing Hare Krishna with us.
And now keep it.
Enjoy. Do you want to say hello?
Yeah.
I don't know them. Where are they from? This is Danielle and Sarah Spotty. And where are they? They're in Pensacola right now. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Enthusiastic.
She's very enthusiastic. Mother's here. Hold on, Mother's here. Yeah.
Okay. So a
Nice.
couple months, so we'll
Aw.
go back.
So what's your plans? We just come here.
Pardon? You need to have. Yeah.
Work or service or.
It's still a little.
Yeah, I'm
insecure
working.
and,
Okay, doing what you.
Mom wants to
Okay.
be there.
Yeah, great. And you do that
My
from.
wife is- Yeah. I will.
Yeah, I do. Okay, I would like to do
So
some.
we're probably going back.
Great. Yeah.
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 And got,
Working to like establish.
So,
programs and.
Yeah.
we got,
Community and.
we got a
Yeah.
second.
Okay,
Okay, good. Very good.
You're welcome anytime. Thank you.
Little one.
Sure.
It's not, you know, devotional, but it's a physical.
That's Grace.
Not really, no. It just.
That was
one, but
He's doing,
probably like, depends on the.
Yeah.
Figuring out what
Decided I
to
wanted
do.
to go less hours.
Yeah, we should, actually run a place.
everything to do, you know?
What is it?
I'm going to do.
Yeah, but yeah, so.
Kind of crowds at the end of the month.
It was,
Yeah.
it's just about an hour and rain's coming down.
Yeah.
It's just,
And the chef, if you want.
if we get away.
To be like. No, sometimes they offer it. Maybe they offer it like.
Yeah, my wife is going to be staying more within, hopefully.
No, it's to go to
Because
compost.
they already made
To
the
go
offer.
to compost.
I said they already made the offer and I didn't see them. Yeah, so they must have been offering here maybe.
But like.
Okay,
and like, yeah, these two like side.
Yeah.
Big for like.
Yeah.
You know, get everybody
Yes.
in better shape and.
Yeah.
Yeah, so hopefully we'll have more, that kind of gap as well. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody else is clear on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We were there first, they came over the temple. We got this. Yeah. Yeah, it's not. It's kind of. It's with the fire over. It's a retro. More suitable.
Yeah, except when I'm with my father. So actually. Saturday night. That I did.
She likes.
He's very self-sufficient, but he doesn't.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
meals, and so it's decided.
Yeah, he has to, get some books.
So he goes with me to the grocery store and, well, we do that activity, and then we also do that. I think that he decided he himself didn't want to drive anymore. So like, you know, he was getting up there and I was getting uncomfortable with the driving. Yeah. Yeah, but supposed to, yes, that's right. To farm, yes. Yeah, to others and to himself. I mean, you know, I have to take the whole picture. Yeah. Yeah. I haven't because I figured he's enjoying the family life and I just thought, you know what? I don't want to push and whenever maybe I want to get back together and we'll get back together. So yeah, I didn't want to. I thought I'd give him a couple months, but I figured, you know, if you're good, that's maybe. Yes. Yeah, 50% more. Yeah, he was living last night. I hope, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, like we get our whole experience, or are you talking? Okay. I didn't go, I don't know, we're meeting in Melanie, that was their workshop, and I don't know. I saw we came here earlier, but like, for now, so I'm not sure. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. She got a lot of. Yeah. Okay. So you know her? I know her. I'm not sure how to describe. Like, you know how she relates to other ones, you know, where she comes from. Okay. Okay, she like lived in, she grew up in New York, lived in Miami. Yeah, for sure, and vice versa. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, they.
The most important. No, the, I think it's
Yeah, the Carolyn and then one of the whites.
herpes.
I'm sorry, this is for. Did you put your plate safely somewhere?
I have it inside,
Inside?
right on the bookshelf over there.
Oh, okay. No, they having a boy or a girl? Girls. Okay.
She started buying clothes, because I thought it was a boy,
Oh, no.
and I said, don't buy them.
Don't- Wait.
And she had to change.
I know, see?
Hi,
Nice to see you in person.
yeah,
Did you get a harmonics?
I did.
Oh,
I got that money.
yeah, how was it?
Oh, it's awesome.
Really cute.
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
yeah, Melanie said,
To play at our, you
this is
know,
a very good harmonium.
long
She
before
said,
we knew
it's better than any
it
harmonium I
happened.
have.
Wow.
Right.
She's like, if I had known about it,
You know,
I would
so
have
we
bought it.
felt really
It's
welcome.
very good.
Right.
And,
Lakshmi
you know,
Priya's assessment, it's not.
And he even.
I don't know if she got that.
He stayed.
She says.
Yeah, but yeah, she's,
I'm glad you asked.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, she loves that.
Between the
So
two.
do I, it's really
You know,
nice.
gets Scotch and Jasmine's, which,
Okay.
you know, couldn't do
Yeah,
that today.
Yeah.
Maybe it was supposed to play that way for Luxury Free, so that it would come to
I
you.
was very,
Well, that-
Maybe it was to play that way for Luxury Free, so that it would come to you.
Right, yeah.
I'm thinking,
disappointed.
if she had experience, and that was her experience.
Uh-huh.
You had some different experience.
Yeah.
And so, well,
To go to that extreme.
Yeah.
I'm good to go. Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah, I'm very
But
good.
to go to that extreme was just,
Yeah.
I was very disappointed in that.
Yeah, they're not, right, so hard to help them over these.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, she was like-
Correct.
Just raving about it. It's like,
So she probably was crying when you left the house with it. A little bit.
After she told me about how good it was, she was like, well, really, it's a lemon, it's really not that good. If you want, I'll take the burden of taking it off your hand.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, I'm wise to you.
Yeah.
It's a special diet.
Yeah, she eats, most of this probably she couldn't eat, she can't eat spicy, she doesn't eat sugar, she can't eat gluten. So it's kind of hard, you know.
Yeah, so thank you for connecting me with that.
Right, yeah.
Well, that's the Luxury Free didn't respond to your
Real strict.
request. It's just like,
She is.
I'm not recommending that to
She
anybody.
has to be.
I was like,
Yeah.
well, it's been here for a couple of years now, so I'd like someone to have it.
Yeah.
So you
You
offered
okay?
me, so anyway.